This girl's got a unique situation. She's cursed, can't go near any tiger boys. But guess what? Her school's crawling with tiger guys. She'll literally faceplant to survive. And of course, the campus player notices. Mr. Smooth makes his move. Dam nopes out like he's radioactive. Undeterred, he slides Dam a drink. Dam shoots back with kidney issues excuse. Not taking the hint, he suggests chicken date. Dam always said she adored animals. Her constant rejections had everyone scratching their heads. When the guy took a phone call, Dam saw her opportunity and bolted, only to get cornered at the exit. Dam twisted her body in weird angles to dodge them, almost getting nailed by a speeding bike. Desperate to escape his assistance, Dam intentionally threw herself down, even as he reached to pull her up. After tumbling head over heels, it bolted away in a flash. He couldn't stop wondering, did she really just somersault like that? All that just to avoid contact with me? She went through all that just to dodge me? Her evasiveness only stoked his urge to chase her down. Dam limped back home, bruised and famished. Yet the mastermind behind this mess just casually dismissed it with a few words. Those words hit Dam like a ton of bricks. None of this would have happened if it weren't for his own doing. Just days earlier, Dam had been knocked over by a drunken friend. Things went wrong during the rescue attempt, making her accidentally swallow a mysterious bead. When she finally came to, she found herself on a plush sofa, but the man staring at her said something that made her blood run cold. He introduced himself as a nine-tailed fox spirit. As the fox continued his bizarre introduction, Dam's first thought? She'd stumbled upon a complete lunatic. Dam feigned composure while backing away. Keeping the fox at bay, Dam desperately groped for her phone. Then came the bombshell. The fox suggested they move in together. Why? Because Dam had swallowed his fox marble. When this madman actually proposed living together with a straight face, Dam didn't hesitate. She whipped out her phone to dial 911. Cornered, the fox shed his human disguise, revealing his majestic 9 tails. Dam came to her senses and bolted like a startled deer. But the fox just watched calmly. He wasn't worried one bit. He knew Dam would come crawling back. That fox marble inside her sealed the deal. Back at home, Dam couldn't shake off that creeping fear. In the dead of night, Dam crept into her brother's bedroom, begging him to use his hunting bow to keep her safe. Little did she know, her brother saw her as the actual threat. He straight up threw her out of the room. Next morning, Dam boarded the school bus like any other day. But when the driver slammed the brakes, some guy stumbled right into her. White-hot pain exploded through her body. Dam doubled over, clutching her stomach. The guy caught on right away. He urgently told the driver to pull over. Clear the way, everyone. This woman's gotta go. Passengers quickly cleared a path. Dam had to make an embarrassing exit. After all that trouble, she finally made it to school. But the pain wasn't letting up. Her buddy Chubby came over to tease her. To everyone's shock, the exhausted Dam collapsed right then and there. That's when it hit her, she'd accidentally swallowed the fox marble. Meanwhile, the fox noticed Dam was behaving oddly. Without a second thought, he dashed straight home. He just knew Dam would seek him out. Right on cue, there she was at his door, ghostly pale and visibly ill. Dam gasped out whether the fox marble was causing her agony. The fox clarified bluntly, "You touched a boy born in the year of the tiger. Only my touch can relieve you now," he admitted reluctantly. Then came the real shock. Dam's fox marble had turned an eerie blue. For this 1,000-year-old fox spirit, becoming human was the ultimate dream. Under divine guidance, he has a millennium to find the one who can make his fox marble turn blue, before he can truly become human. For 1,000 years he searched, across centuries for his destined one. And now, there she stands before him. Dam just wants to survive, while the fox needs his marble back to become human. Now these unlikely roommates must live together. When they move into the fox's lair, Dam headed to the shop to grab some self-defense gear, a stun gun and pepper spray. But the moment she stepped inside, she somehow ended up dropping all her self-defense stuff on the floor. Trying to save face from this awkward moment, Dam quickly lied, claiming they were presents for the 9-tailed fox. That very night, she spotted the fox, lurking in the yard with a sickle in hand. One look at his menacing side profile, Dam bolted to the living room in terror. Then, horror of horrors, red liquid was dripping from the fridge. As Dam stood there bewildered, the fox was already looming behind Jean. With a blank stare, Jean explained to Dam, the sickle was just his gardening tool for trimming branches. Those blood trails? just packaged cow blood he was taking home, his dinner that he hadn't touched yet. Shaken to the core, Dam collapsed onto her bed, certain she'd be staring at the ceiling till dawn. Yet somehow she slept like a log till noon. By the time Dam finally stumbled out of bed, Dam found herself instantly captivated by the dashing fox. Shaking off the spell, Dam steeled her resolve not to fall for his tricks. The fox explained to Dam that since he couldn't guess her preferences, he'd gone ahead and bought all sorts of gifts. Dam mentally noted this was classic fox behavior. Dam then mentioned to Hysun he'd even stocked up on ice cream. Deep down, she knew that fox was up to something. Then came the fox's ultimate move, offering to cover her tuition. Dam suddenly exclaimed, "Should I text you the account details?" Seeing the unexpected funds in her bank account. In the end, Dam just couldn't help herself. The lure of cash. That's when the fox suggested taking a few days business trip to Singapore. Dam was visibly thrilled. "You're way too excited about this," the fox teased. "No, I'm not," Dam protested. With that, the fox slipped into a fresh new look, even though Dam was well aware of his magical prowess. Seeing him transform right in front of her face still scared the living daylights out of Dam. In a daze, Dam barely made it through her classes, until friends told her about tonight's club party. But in her cursed state, crowded places were the last thing she needed. After relentless peer pressure from her squad, Dam caved to temptation, slipped into something hot, and found herself in the middle of a packed, pulsating dance floor. Just then, a street punk seized the chance to grab her shoulder. Dam was instantly hit by a wave of excruciating pain, even though she recognized he was born in the year of the tiger. Overwhelmed by the agony, she found herself powerless to fight back. Meanwhile, the nine-tailed fox abroad felt his fox marble reacting violently. Frantically, he dialed Dam's number, only to get no response. Back at the scene, the punk was dragging Dam deeper into the alley. Her silent prayers begged for a miracle rescue. Just as Dam was losing all hope, the dashing nine-tailed fox strode toward her, effortlessly pulled Dam away from the thugs. "I've been searching everywhere for you," he said. The moment Dam recognized him, she felt safe again. She slumped against the fox in relief, watching their prey slip through their fingers. The thugs moved in to start a fight. As the thugs hit the ground, the fox just sauntered off. Dam expected the fox to lecture her when she came to. Dam was taken aback when the fox had already ordered cake for her. The fox reassured Dam there was no need for her to fear him. Her visible nervousness filled him with guilt. Despite being a nine-tailed fox, his fox marble resided within her. This bound him to protect her at all costs. Dam's tension melted away at his words. Maybe nine-tailed foxes weren't the monsters from folklore after all. Kind souls still exist, just like in fairy tales. But Dam's joy was short-lived. The fox dropped a bombshell revelation. Human bodies aren't meant to hold fox marbles permanently. A year at most. Fail to remove it in time? You're dead. Facing just 1 year of life, determined to live with no regrets. Dam went on a fried chicken and beer binge. She wobbled unsteadily down the street. Then she suddenly lost her balance. To her surprise, the fox marble dropped out, staring at the crimson glowing fox marble in front of her. Dam thought she'd finally escaped death. Thrilled, she rushed to the nine-tailed fox with the marble. Seeing the mud-stained red candy lying there, the fox's face was full of confusion. "This isn't the fox marble, it's just some discarded candy." Dam complained she'd been celebrating her survival for nothing. Seeing Dam completely wasted like this, the fox grew anxious for Dam's well-being. Wandering around drunk is a recipe for disaster. Nauseous and disoriented, Dam suddenly fixated on an antique vase. She lurched toward it with drunken determination. The fox instantly conjured a spell to intercept her. After a chaotic tussle, he managed to steer Dam to the bathroom. Surveying the levitating vases scattered through the room, he let out an exasperated sigh. Never did he imagine wasting his magic on this. Come morning, considering Dam's recent antics, to keep both her and the fox marble safe, the fox laid down 3 strict rules for Dam. Rule 1. Absolutely no interacting with boys born in the year of the tiger. Rule 2. Sober living to maintain her health. Rule 3. Chicken is completely off the menu. Dam thought every single rule was completely ridiculous. This hit hard. Fried chicken was her ultimate comfort food. But here's the kicker, nine-tailed foxes are deathly afraid of chickens. Plus, the fox marble reacts to its host's well-being. Dam yelled out in furious protest. But the fox coldly turned down her request. The fox warned her that pushing further could be deadly. With her life on the line, Dam had no choice but to obey. Later at school, Dam spotted a boy heading toward her and quickly dodged away, ducking into the bushes. Suddenly, a voice called out behind her. Her blood ran cold. It was Jean, the school's star athlete and cursed tiger. He held up the uniform she'd dropped. Before she could react, Jean handed back the fallen clothes. Shockingly, Dam gave him a look of pure revulsion, ordering him to toss his clothes onto the floor. Making sure not to brush against him, she gingerly collected the garments. The normally charismatic Jean was left seething with humiliation. Fate intervened when they crossed paths again at that evening's dinner. There she was, Dam, the girl who'd rejected him. That morning's humiliation had been festering in his mind. Yet he couldn't shake this magnetic pull toward her. Dam's attempts to dodge him only intensified his determination to win her over. The following morning, using borrowing coins as a pretext, he attempted to get Dam's number, but Dam shut him down right away. Undeterred, he faked needing to check the time and grabbed Dam's phone, inputting his own number, telling Dam to hit him up anytime for drinks. His persistence came from his conviction that he had more than just looks. Exceptionally intelligent. Born into wealth and privilege, Jean had already gone out with 20 girls since starting college, so rejection was completely foreign to him. But Dam suddenly snapped and confronted him, demanding to know why he'd grabbed her phone so rudely. Jean asked in disbelief if she was seriously angry with him. Dam declared she didn't want his lousy 801 anymore. As Dam walked away without looking back, Jean could only stand there, completely stunned. Undeterred, Jean messaged Dam again that evening, proposing to meet up and settle the debt. Shockingly, Dam just sent her banking details straight away, claiming she was swamped and couldn't meet face to face. Jean spotted his chance right away. He casually asked Dam if she needed assistance. Panicked, Dam jumped at the offer and blurted out a request for toilet fixing advice. That toilet needed fixing before the fox came back. Fortunately, Jean dug up a genius fix online. Dam narrowly escaped danger thanks to the fox. Wanting to show her appreciation, Dam promised to buy him dinner. Just then, the fox came back carrying pizza. Dam cheerfully invited the fox to join the meal, but the fox explained they don't need human food to survive. Dam questioned why he'd bothered cooking before. With a smile, the fox admitted he'd caused her hardship. Everything he prepared was specially for her. The previous night's feast had been nothing but crispy fried chicken. Dam returned not just empty-handed but also battered and bruised. But the fox remained completely oblivious to her pain. Spotting the cigarettes on the table, Dam slyly nudged him to quit. They ended up drafting yet another contract over this issue. But the fox had been puffing away for 4 centuries straight, a single day in, and he was already climbing the walls. Watching Dam salivate over the TV commercial for fried chicken, his heart melting, he decided to whip something up in the kitchen. He improvised with duck meat to create chicken-style cutlets. The result? Completely inedible. The fox treated Dam to some pizza. Dam felt her heart flutter at the fox's thoughtfulness. Late at night, Dam saw the fox pacing in the courtyard. She realized he'd had a nightmare. Without thinking, she moved to comfort him. Dam's comforting words reached the fox's heart. Touched by her kindness, the fox decided to retrieve the marble and set her free. But when he tried to reach for the marble inside Dam, it suddenly began glowing blue. His intense longing to become human must have triggered this change. The fox just had to give Dam a tight hug. Next morning, Dam spilled everything to her squad. Her BFF insisted that kind of intimate move was basically a love declaration. Dam wasn't buying it. Back home, the fox cornered her with a question. / what if I asked you to be my girlfriend? / would you say yes? Dam shot him down. / is this because I'm a gumiho? He pressed. / nah, Dam shrugged. You're just not my type. The millennial nine-tailed fox was stunned by this response. Questioned his very purpose for existing. Even his legendary seductive powers had finally met their match. The fox reached out to his ancient fox companion Wuyo. When Hisun, now fully human, got wind of this, she burst out laughing uncontrollably. The former fox spirit roasted the mighty Ninetails for being reduced to such a pathetic state. Back with Dam, she honored her dinner promise to Jean, but nearly choked seeing the menu prices. Noticing the situation, Jean generously offered to cover the bill. Dam accepted his thoughtful gesture. However, from that day onward, he started pursuing Dam relentlessly. He didn't just bring her drinks to class, he also invited her to study sessions, and even took her out for dinners after class. Confronted with all these romantic gestures, Dam couldn't help but question his intentions. After several rejections, Jae-jin decided to confront Dam directly, demanding to know why he left her on read. Some girls from their class saw what happened. They started whispering that Dam was just playing hard to get. Even Dam's own friends came to interrogate her if she and Jae-jin had something going on. Right then, Jae-jin texted her, asking her out to a movie that weekend. Her friends were already celebrating for her. What they didn't realize was how much Jae-jin's actions were stressing Dam out. But she was actually really upset about it. Dam resolved to turn into the most irritating person imaginable. Her goal was simple: make Jae-jin back off permanently. That's when Dam remembered her immortal roommate, the fox. Surely a being who's walked the earth for centuries would be the ultimate love guru. So Dam went straight to the fox for some ancient wisdom about becoming completely undateable. Ideally one masterstroke to scare off Jae-jin for good. Thus began their practice dating session. The fox went all out, rocking a dapper three-piece suit. Dam was totally blown away by his stylish look. They headed to a nearby school joint for some pork ribs. Watching Dam's over-the-top antics, the fox called her out, reminding her of the last time she devoured jjajangmyeon, with sauce all over her face and her dramatic noodle slurping. That must have been way more annoying than this. Next, they grabbed some coffee. True to form, Dam slurped down a few noisy sips. When the fox mentioned her soup drinking habits, she let out that signature slurp. Acting so rudely towards someone might actually be part of the plan. Woo Yeo's heartfelt words really struck a chord with Dam. That's when Dam understood that just being her normal self was irritating enough as it was. Fuming, Dam snatched her bag and stormed out. Woo Yeo seemed genuinely thrown off guard, wanting to lift Dam's spirits. The fox scored a bunch of plushies for Dam at the archery booth and handed the whole pile to her. Dam flashed a peace sign while triumphantly lifting her new toys. The fox felt his heart swell seeing her genuine happiness. He warned her not to smile that way, because her radiance was downright dangerous. Dam froze, completely flustered by his bold compliment. As they headed home, they wandered past a cafe, where Jae-jin was grabbing lattes with his crew, when Dam's laughter suddenly caught his ear. He didn't even turn back when his friends called out to him. Without a second thought, he went after her. Right away, he phoned Dam. Just as Jae-jin was about to grab Dam's arm, the fox swiftly pulled her aside. All three found themselves in this painfully awkward standoff. You could cut the tension between them with a knife. Meanwhile, Dam was completely clueless about what was happening. As Jae-jin made another move toward them, the fox shut him down hard, saying they had private business to discuss. As she was leaving, Hae-sun put on an affectionate act and gave Dam a pat on the head. The moment he was gone, Dam was hit with crippling stomach pain. Thankfully, the fox was there to soothe her and relieve the pain. The fox felt uneasy about them watching movies by themselves, afraid Dam might get sick again. He made Dam promise to call him right away if anything went wrong. Dam teased, asking if he'd come running to her rescue if she reached out to him. Without hesitation, the fox answered absolutely. He was determined to keep Dam safe. Recalling how the fox had shielded her earlier, blushing, Dam burrowed into the blankets while remembering back on that fateful date with Jae-jin. Dam had ditched their movie outing. She'd schemed to move their date to slurping jjajangmyeon Riverside. Taking in the whole awkward situation, Jae-jin was visibly squirming with discomfort. Dam secretly hoped to kill Jae-jin's appetite, so she accidentally mentioned that time Jae-jin gave her toilet plunging lessons. She went as far as comparing the jjajangmyeon to a toilet bowl. Just like Jae-jin suggested, she sealed that toilet bowl up real good. Sealed up tighter than Fort Knox zero airflow. Right on cue, Jae-jin dropped his chopsticks with that classic EW face. Dam took this as her cue to go full gremlin mode. Went full vacuum cleaner on those noodles, dropping cringy dad jokes between slurps like it was her job. Come nightfall, the skies opened up like someone left the shower running. To add insult to injury, Jae-jin's little bro cleaned out his wallet, leaving these two disaster humans to ride the shame bus home together. Dam glances back with a radiant smile as she dashes through the rain. Dam urges Jae-jin to catch up with playful insistence. Jae-jin averts his eyes bashfully under Dam's guileless smile. Dam waves goodbye as Jae-jin boards the bus. Dam catches Jae-jin deliberately turning away with feigned indifference. A secret thrill dances in Dam's chest. Mission accomplished, today's strategy worked perfectly. Little does Dam realize, Jae-jean's been secretly overjoyed this whole time. Dam skips merrily through the rain toward home. Right after stepping out of the bus stop, Dam ran into the fox who was waiting with an umbrella. Apparently, he hadn't been able to contact Dam. He'd rushed to the bus stop because he was worried she'd get soaked in the rain. The fox made Dam promise that whenever he calls, she has to pick up, because he gets seriously worried about her. At home, Dam gave the fox a full debrief about her date. She was absolutely convinced Jae-jean must hate her by now. But while she was grabbing kimchi from the kitchen, her phone buzzed with a movie invitation from Jae-jean. The fox caught this entire scene by chance. The next morning, Dam carefully picked out her best look. Thinking she was dressing up for Jae-jean, the fox couldn't hide his irritation. But here's the twist, Dam had already rejected Jae-jean's invite. Turns out she was just cheering for her baby brother's baseball game. Meanwhile, Jae-jean kept rereading Dam's rejection text, totally bewildered. Meanwhile, the fox was scheming to bring Haesun into the university undercover. The mission? Have Haesun secretly protect Dam at school. But the one you're desperately trying to dodge is usually the one fate keeps throwing your way. When assigned partners for the love psychology project, Dam somehow ended up teamed with Jae-jean. The class erupted in whispers when they saw the pairings. They didn't just rate Dam's looks, but started slinging disgusting comments too. Dam wasn't about to take that crap. She shut them down with a fiery speech. Jae-jean raced after Dam, desperate to clear things up. Dam wasn't buying the explanation. You don't feel the pain when the knife cuts others. You have no idea how much this hurts. Meanwhile, a group of girls were whispering behind her back, talking about Dam's disappointing test results. Little did they know, Haesun caught every word. When she saw Dam fighting back tears, she instantly dialed the fox. Dam bottled up her anger and studied with them anyway, all while giving her fake sympathy and empty comfort. Dam repeated to them exactly what they'd overheard. They'd actually been gossiping about their own affairs. Caught red-handed, the whole group just abandoned their work and stormed out. Left with no options, Dam had to pull an all-nighter by herself to finish the Dam project. Exhausted and defeated, Dam was about to head home when she saw someone had turned on all the lights for her. The fox appeared, saying he'd come to keep her company during the late hours. That was the last straw. All Dam's pent-up frustration from the day came pouring out. Dam collapsed into the fox's arms, her face buried in his chest as she finally let the tears fall. The fox was at a loss for how to console Dam, so he simply let Dam drag him along, all the way to a karaoke bar to blow off steam. To everyone's surprise, the fox belted out a nostalgic tune, then treated her to a retro red bean ice pop, making Dam burst into uncontrollable giggles. Now cheered up, Dam pulled out their photos from that fateful day. It finally dawned on the fox. She'd dolled up specially for her brother. Spotting sticky red bean traces around Dam's lips, unable to resist, he reached out to gently wipe it off. That simple touch sent Dam's heart racing. When Dam woke up the next morning, her body ached all over. The fox's heart sank seeing Dam curled up miserably in bed. Guilt washed over the fox like a tidal wave. "It's just my period," Dam explained weakly. The fox's mind raced, he had to do something. Within minutes he'd gathered heating pads, steaming water, and comfort food. Anything to help Dam feel better. The fox piled up all Dam's favorite treats. The moment Dam spotted the food, her face instantly brightened. No doubt about it, Dam was a true blue food lover. Despite still being under the weather, that hearty meal gave Dam a much-needed energy boost. Then came the big day, Dam's date with Jae-jean. When the fox saw Dam struggling to prepare while still sick, he volunteered to take her place on the date. Using his fox magic, he shapeshifted into Dam's exact likeness and headed to meet Jae-jean. The fox's imitation of Dam's manners completely threw Jae-jean for a loop. Dam and Jae-jean headed out for some hearty potato chicken bone soup. Jae-jean watched as Dam sat perfectly poised, nibbling the bones with unexpected grace. Jae-jean marveled at how she made it look like she was dining on prime rib. Her every bite was pure elegance. Meanwhile, Jae-jean was getting lost in some very distracting thoughts. Little did he know, the fox was already smirking at his transparent daydreams. After dinner, they found themselves at the movies. Fate had other plans. They bumped into Haesun, who was there for a school project. With one glance, Haesun pierced through Dam's human disguise. Smirking, she couldn't resist teasing them about being relationship goals. The fox fabricated a bathroom excuse for them. The fox cautioned Hysun against making waves today. Yet Hysun was weirdly entertained by this. Hysun warned the fox not to catch real feelings. If the fox delays getting the fox marble back, Dam will perish as it saps her life force. Their entire day together finally wrapped up. Heading back, Jae-jin recalled Dam's friend's warning, questioning whether his feelings for Dam were real. Jae-jin just had to ask Dam about her perfect guy, only to discover Dam has a thing for kind souls. All the way home, Dam couldn't stop wondering how to handle the situation. Meanwhile, the fox dragged himself home, completely worn out. He collapsed onto the couch and immediately fell asleep. Dam gently tucked a blanket around him with tender care, then accidentally dozed off right next to him. The fox found himself staring at Dam's peaceful sleeping face. The nine-tailed fox gazed at her with eyes overflowing with unspoken love. Hysun's dire warning kept ringing in his ears. Tormented by these thoughts, the fox started purposely keeping his distance from Dam. After this happened a few times, even Dam, who wasn't usually quick to catch on, sensed the growing distance. She started feeling upset about it, but she couldn't quite figure out why. Right at that moment, Jae-jin invited her to collaborate on a report. Dam saw this as her opportunity to get the fox's take. Trying to conceal what he really felt, the fox intentionally spoke to Dam in a cold tone, saying their connection was just a matter of circumstance, and that they shouldn't spend so much time together. Dam said yes to Jae-jin's date offer. For their special outing, Jae-jin had prepared multiple cakes beforehand, but Dam kept interrogating him about what happened that fateful day, but came up empty-handed. Heading home, Dam ran into the mysterious fox. She took a seat facing him. Suddenly her heart began pounding uncontrollably. Dam found herself unable to meet the fox's gaze. Flustered, she quickly suggested they leave. Noticing Dam's flushed cheeks, the fox assumed she was running a fever. Dam insisted she felt perfectly normal. Dam confided in her friends about the incident. Her friends unanimously concluded Dam had a crush on him. Unexpectedly, the fox made a move that day. Requested Dam to set up a social media profile for him, claiming he needed to reach her whenever he wanted. Dam became completely engrossed. Fortunately, Jae-jin snapped her out of it just in time. Yet Dam kept giving him the cold shoulder. After spending more time together recently, Jae-jin finally came to terms with what he really felt. Jae-jin confronted his buddies, demanding they cancel their stupid wager, confessing he'd lost the game but won something real. The truth? His whole chase after Dam started with a dumb $100 bet among friends. This revelation hit his friends hard. They were shook. This wasn't the playboy Jae-jin they knew. After getting the money, they brazenly talked about Jae-jin's lost wager. Dam's friend accidentally caught wind of their conversation. Enraged, he confronted Jae-jin and a brawl broke out. The friend warned Jae-jin that Dam better not hear about this. But Dam was already right behind them, listening in. Taking in the scene, Dam turned away heartbroken. Jae-jin chased after Dam, desperate to make amends. It was obvious he had a million things to say, but all that came out was a confession about betting on Dam. Dam listened calmly, then coldly wished to never see him again. As Jae-jin watched Dam walk away, he was overwhelmed with deep remorse. Meanwhile, the fox could tell Dam was feeling down. He thought taking her out for a stroll might cheer her up. He tossed out a few of Dam's go-to comfort foods, but Dam just shook her head, not hungry at all. So the fox switched tactics. How about drinks? Even though Dam hadn't touched alcohol in ages, she ended up overdoing it. As Dam swung between crying fits and giggles, the fox found himself laughing along. I've walked this earth for centuries, the fox mused. Everything feels like it's just passing by in the blink of an eye. But watching Dam, who's always so heartfelt in every moment, he adores her unfiltered honesty. Maybe it was the mood, or maybe her true feelings took over. Dam suddenly confessed, I like you. Then she slumped against the fox, her head resting on his shoulder. When Dam woke up the next morning, memories of last night flooded back. Her legs turned to jelly, and she crumpled to the floor. Dreading the awkward encounter with the fox, Dam decided to slip out unnoticed. Dam desperately crawled forward on the ground. But the fox suddenly materialized at the door and caught her. Was the fox actually trying to have a heart-to-heart? Dam flat out refused and made another break for it, only to get intercepted by the fox again. Here's the kicker, the fox completely misread Dam's confession, thinking she was professing her love for egg tarts. Dam was caught between laughter and tears. At a friend's gathering later, she didn't even touch her beloved chitlins. She just mechanically went through the motions all night. That night, the fox waited up until 10 p.m., but Dam never came home. Fearing for her safety, he was just about to go search for her. Just then, he spotted Dam slumped in the corner looking utterly dejected. Gently, he draped his jacket around her shoulders. Kneeling beside her, he whispered his concern. Dam confessed that despite their formal agreement, she couldn't keep pretending to be unaffected by their growing bond. No matter what he thought of her, he meant the world to her. He was truly special. Without hesitation, the fox assured her, "You're just as precious to me." Dam held her breath, waiting anxiously for his answer. To her shock, the fox replied deadpan, "We've grown as close as family. You're like a niece to me." This was the last reason Dam expected to get friend-zoned. By sunrise, she was already addressing him as Uncle Fox. Clueless as ever, the fox didn't realize his blunder. To pull Dam out of her post-rejection slump, her squad went into matchmaking overdrive. She picked up her BFF's call mid-arrangement, yet her gaze kept drifting back to the fox. Dam hesitantly brought up whether she could go on a blind date, to which the fox coolly responded that nothing in their contract prohibited blind dates. Seeing how unfazed he was, Dam, frustrated, agreed to the date just to spite him. Dam's blind date took place at a barbecue joint. To her shock, the guy was full of himself and obnoxiously arrogant. Other than expecting her to worship him, Dam couldn't get a word in edgewise. All she could do was sit there and listen to him ramble on. Meanwhile, the fox wanted to set up a post-date chat with Dam. He kept drafting and redrafting the message but never hit send. Just then, a clumsy waiter bumped into him, sending the message by accident. Dam was shocked to see blind date pop up in the chat. She immediately called the fox. When the fox expressed his concern, Dam lied and said the blind date went perfectly. But right after hanging up and stepping inside, she spotted the fox working at the same cafe. To her surprise, that strange senior sat beside the fox. The moment Dam took her seat, the senior piped up, demanding to know why she was late. Was she trying to ditch the coffee bill? No way. Dam blurted out defensively. Undeterred, the senior launched into unsolicited life advice. He even went for an awkward high five with Dam. Once he'd pried into Dam's personal life. The senior was dismissive of Dam since she didn't stand out in any particular field. After scolding her, he announced they wouldn't be seeing each other again. As he was leaving, he made sure to mention that she should pay him back for today's expenses. Witnessing Dam being treated like this, the fox furiously cast a spell to make the senior stumble. His awkward tumble had everyone laughing out loud. Dam and the fox headed home together. The fox finally understood the core issue. He proactively brought up the topic of that supposed niece. The fox had walked this earth for a millennium, yet never let anyone into his heart as family. That night, the fox finally found words to capture Dam's uniqueness. On their fateful date, Wu Yeo listened as Dam shared her lifelong ambition to become a museum curator. Without warning, the fox grasped Dam's hand, vanishing them both into the darkened museum after hours. Dam's eyes sparkled as she raced between exhibits. The fox could still picture Dam's first awestruck steps into his artifact vault, her animated tales breathing life into each relic's history. He informed Dam that the man introduced himself as a life coach, yet hadn't experienced as much life as he had. He encouraged Dam to keep pursuing her passions. Dam couldn't resist asking him, "Is it truly possible for me to keep going?" Suddenly, a security guard entered with a flashlight. In a flash, the fox scooped Dam up. They wedged themselves into a cramped hiding spot, pressed together face to face in the confined space, sent their hearts pounding. The news was buzzing about a spike in downtown crimes. Hai-sun's instincts told her something was off. She warned the fox, "This brutality, it's not human." True to his word, the fox showed up right on time to collect Dam after school. He'd even brought a cozy blanket, talk about being prepared. But then Hai-sun emerged first, commandeering the front seat without hesitation. Just as Dam approached the car, Hai-sun flashed a smug, "I win this round" grin. Even as the fox's tail twitched with irritation, Hai-sun just casually pulled out her compact, applying lipstick with infuriating slowness. Just as Dam was approaching the car, the fox was forced to use his magic to vanish her. "Wow, there's way more room than I expected." Hai-sun was completely blindsided by the fox's move. As they drove, the fox explained to Dam, "There's been a terrifying spike in violent crimes recently. These don't look like human crimes at all. A fellow fox spirit got ambushed by some mysterious creature. When the fox investigated these attacks, he realized all 3 victims. They're all the women in her life. To keep Dam safe, the fox began escorting her to and from school. One day, Dam decided to study century-old history. She borrowed a book from the fox. To her surprise, she found a woman's portrait inside. She discovered this was the fox's first love. Dam was instantly consumed by jealousy. But the real shock came when they both showed up at the flower shop the very next day. The fox spots a woman who looks just like his first love. The fox urges Dam to leave ahead of him. Dam jumps to the conclusion that the fox is trying to rekindle his past romance. Left with no choice, Dam trudges home alone, sulking. The fox claims he recognizes this woman. Why is she using this familiar face to approach him? He demands to know if she's after his fox marble. The flower shop owner reveals her true form, a vicious demon. She openly admits the fox marble is what she's after. The fox instantly realizes Dam's life is now in grave danger. He rushed home in a flash. His worries melted away when he saw Dam was unharmed. The words spilled out before he could stop himself. Nothing would stop him from protecting her. His promise weighed on him constantly. Every word was a solemn vow. He pleaded with Dam to have faith in him. Those simple words dissolved Dam's weeks of resentment in an instant. Dam was buried in books at the library during finals. Then out of nowhere, the fox materialized behind her. Dam believed he was picking her up because he cared. She felt secretly delighted, totally oblivious to his sinister, greedy stare. Once he'd handled the wicked fox spirit, he went back to Dam, gazing at her guileless expression. The fox understood the marble was within Dam. This would ultimately lead to her downfall. He resolved to reclaim the marble, so he asked Dam to join him on a journey. They opted to take the bus. Breaking his usual habits, the fox even posed for numerous photos with Dam. Copying Dam's gesture, the fox even made a wish just like her. Under the dreamy glow of neon lights that night, the fox finally confessed the feelings he'd suppressed for so long. With trembling sincerity, he confessed to Dam. After centuries of loneliness, Dam's kindness became the first light in his endless night. The truth was, the fox knew from the start how to reclaim the fox marble, but selfishly clung to Dam like a drowning man to driftwood. Now, with a shattered heart, he had to let her go. Let Dam know it was just a brief dream. Their agreement has now come to an end. After kissing Dam, the fox reclaimed his fox marble. However, the moment the marble was retrieved, Dam was supposed to forget all these recent events. Dam went back to her normal life. On the surface, everything appeared normal again. Her midnight snacks of fried chicken and beer returned. Yet when a waiter came near, she automatically shied away. Apparently, the fox's magic failed to erase her memories. Every moment they shared flashed clearly in Dam's mind. But Dam had to act as if everything was normal. Those sweet memories were just Dam's foolish fantasies. To him, Dam was merely a battery to recharge his power, a disposable thing to be thrown away when used up. Dam attempted to numb her pain with these bitter realizations. Without warning, the skies darkened ominously. Just as Dam prepared to dash for cover, an umbrella suddenly shielded her from above. Dam stood completely still, stunned. Could it truly be him? Dam thought to herself. The fox inquired about her destination. He proposed to accompany her. Dam's composure cracked at his unexpected arrival. Yet after mere paces, she froze mid-step. She'd resolved to write her own ending. Why this sudden charade of concern? Dam rebuffed his feigned generosity. Unbeknownst to her, the fox lurked beneath the professor's guise. Dam meticulously dodged every potential encounter. Fate had them cross paths again in the elevator after class. Jean broke the ice by asking Dam if she'd like to grab a bite together. Just then, the elevator came to an abrupt halt. They both instinctively reached out to catch Dam. Dam icily brushed off the fox's helping hand, only to turn and thank Jean instead. She was furious about the fox single-handedly calling it quits. The whole situation left her seething, which was exactly why she made sure to do this in the fox's face. Dam said yes to Jean's invitation. Watching this unfold, the fox was left standing alone. Over dinner, Jean unexpectedly poured his heart out to Dam. He told her everyone already knew how he felt. Everyone except Dam herself. Was she really the only one who hadn't noticed? Dam froze at his words. Jean quickly added she didn't need to respond immediately. Dam could sense the genuine emotion in Jean's words. Yet her heart still belonged to the fox. Realizing this, Dam rushed to find Jean immediately and sincerely apologized to him, confessing she'd already given her heart to another. That evening, Dam drowned her sorrows with her best friend. The girls vented all their romantic frustrations while helping her intoxicated friend stagger home. They literally bumped into the fox and Hysun. The fox, visibly worried about Dam, insisted on escorting them home, but Dam gently refused his assistance. Yet the fox remained uneasy. The fox quietly trailed after them. As Dam flagged down a taxi for her friend, she lost her footing. The fox's familiar hand steadied her waist. Their gazes locked in wordless tension. The fox maintained his stranger act with Dam. Dam could only follow the unspoken script and leave. Next morning, the fox leveraged his professor persona, calling out Dam's friend on her excessive drinking and creating problems for everyone. Hysun could tell right away that he was green with envy. She couldn't suppress a knowing smirk. The school arranged an educational trip to a historic site. Little did they know this was the very spot where Dam and the fox had shared memories. There stood Dam, frozen before the cairn they'd stacked together. Her tense body language didn't escape the fox's notice. Dam's memories remained intact after all. That night, Dam found herself drawn back to that fateful spot where she'd last seen the fox. Just then, a familiar presence materialized behind her, the fox. He carefully inquired whether Dam still remembered everything. Before he could finish speaking, Dam started crying, overwhelmed with sadness. She confessed to the fox that she'd been doing her best to keep up the act of having amnesia. Why did he insist on staying close to her, making her fall hopelessly in love? She demanded to know if she meant nothing more than a container for his fox marble. Had he really felt nothing for her all this time? She confessed, "I love you, please love me back." As he gazed at this brave, honest girl standing before him, the fox couldn't hold back his emotions any longer. The fox dashed forward and wrapped Dam in a tight embrace. The fox declared firmly, no take-backs from this moment on. Their hearts finally aligned in mutual confession. During their return, Dam grilled the fox about Hysun. The fox admitted they'd been more than friends for 7 centuries. Though Hysun too had gained humanity 4 years prior, they parted ways with visible reluctance. Dam texted the fox sweet dreams before turning in. For their homecoming day, they scheduled their first official date. The fox went out of his way to bring Dam some flowers. First, he took Dam to a sauna room. After that, they went out for some fried chicken. Dam couldn't quite figure out what he was up to with these plans. The fox admitted he got the sauna date idea from a TV show. The fried chicken was his way of making it up to her. All the hard work she'd been putting in lately. But seeing Dam enjoy her meal so much, he suddenly found himself feeling hungry. The next day, Dam dropped by his office to see him. The moment the fox laid eyes on Dam, overcome by instinct, he pulled her into a kiss. His eyes flashed crimson, the beast within awakening. The fox deepened the kiss with feral intensity. Dam gasped for air, trapped in his embrace. Terrified, Dam shoved the fox back with all her strength. The shock snapped the fox back to his senses. One more moment and he could have killed her. From that day on, the fox vowed to keep his distance. Little did he know, Dam's heart had other plans. Dam was head over heels in love. She was dying to get closer to the fox. They had their date at the arcade. The fox got totally hooked on the games. Meanwhile, Dam looked on with envy at the cuddling couple beside them. On their way out, Dam nearly took a tumble, but the fox yanked her back by the collar. This bizarre move left Dam utterly speechless. Back at home, the fox learned something important from the TV, that grabbing someone by the collar is totally unacceptable, and usually only happens during fights or intense confrontations. Meanwhile, Dam's younger brother teased her for being too uptight. After a night of deep thought, Dam realized that pushing the fox away earlier might have led him to misunderstand that she disliked being touched. So Dam sent a long text to explain herself. But just as she got to the office, Dam found the fox slumped weakly in the chair. "Are you all right?" Dam urgently asked the fox. When Dam roused him from his daze, the fox's eyes turned predatory. His gaze raked over Dam's figure. The fox struggled desperately to restrain his overwhelming animal instinct. Meanwhile, Dam stayed blissfully oblivious. At the critical moment, Hysun burst in and whisked Dam to safety. Hysun explained to Dam, "This is the inescapable destiny of the nine-tailed fox clan, a curse they're powerless to break. To stay alive, they must feed on human life force, and when they're with someone they truly love, Their animal instincts become uncontrollable, as Dam weakened from having his life force drained. The lovers were forced apart temporarily, until Wu Yeo could find a way to break the curse. During the school festival, Wu Yeo noticed a mysterious stranger. Dam raced up to the rooftop, only to find the mountain god waiting there. The mountain god declared to Wu Yeo, a nine-tailed fox and human are fated to never unite. To break their bond, the god tied Dam's red string of fate around Jae-jin's wrist, violently binding their futures together. The god even disguised himself as a seer, convincing Dam that the heavens destined her to be with Jae-jin. He ruthlessly warned that her boyfriend would face tragedy. That evening, Jae-jin drank himself into a stupor. Spotting Jae-jin collapsed, Dam felt the red string compelling her forward. Drawn by the thread's magic, Jae-jin collapsed against Dam. The fox observed this entire scene from nearby. When the fox saw Dam clinging to Jae-jin even inside the car, his jealousy boiled over and he rushed to pull them apart. They arranged to meet at the fox's home tomorrow. Excited for the visit, the fox tidied his room at dawn, counting the minutes until Dam would arrive. But just as Dam arrived at his door, the red thread on her wrist suddenly pulsed with warning right when her brother called. Shockingly, her brother and Jae-jin's sister had collided literally, ending up at the police station. But the moment they met face to face, they settled everything instantly. Jae-jin apologized for being rude yesterday, just as Dam was heading out. The fateful red thread kept creating accidents, drawing these two closer together. The convenience store where Dam worked part-time? Owned by Jae-jin's uncle. When Jae-jin's parents cut off his allowance, he ended up working at the store too. Their bond grew stronger with each accidental meeting. After her store shift, Dam went to see the fox and confessed she was now working with Jae-jin. The fox finally revealed the truth to Dam, explaining about their destined red thread. But if their love stayed strong, the red thread couldn't keep them apart. In the fox's class, Jae-jin and Dam kept getting drawn together by the thread's pull. Watching them grow closer, the fox burned with jealousy. In a fit of pique, he froze time with his magic, marched to Dam and physically turned Jae-jin's face away. He commanded Dam, "You'll sit in the front row for all my classes from now on." The friends planned a mountain sketching trip together. Yet destiny's invisible thread kept pulling Jae-jin toward Dam. Rejected again, Jae-jin's heart ached terribly. Drowning his pain in drinks, Jae-jin seized Dam's wrist for one last confession. Dam ice-coldly shut him down once more. But facing Jae-jin's raw, vulnerable look, her traitorous heart skipped a beat against her will. Determined to end this dangerous attraction, Dam vowed to sever every connection with Jae-jin, no matter what. She walked away from her convenience store gig without looking back. Unbeknownst to her, this very act would reveal the glowing thread binding their fates. Dam didn't think twice before attempting to sever the red thread. Little did she know, this act awakened the mountain deity. The mountain deity revealed to Dam that all these trials were actually meant to guide the fox's path. The fox marble doesn't turn blue from human energy, it changes through human connection. When the fox suffered his first heartbreaking loss, that's when his marble first turned azure. But the pain made him build walls around his heart, sabotaging his own chance at humanity. Dam was the first person in centuries who made him want to be human again. Right after hearing this, Dam immediately packed up and headed straight to the fox's place. Dam proposed they should move back in together right away. This time around, Dam was dead set on helping the fox achieve humanity. Her first step was comparing notes with Hysun to find any leads. Yet regardless of Hysun's suggestions, the fox kept dismissing her as clueless. Watching them go at each other like mortal foes, Dam realized they were practically the same. While walking home supporting each other, a classmate coincidentally snapped the intimate moment. Dam didn't hesitate to go public with their romance in front of everyone. After spending a magical night together, sure enough, the nine-tailed fox's marble grew even bluer. Right before class, Dam realized she'd forgotten her homework. The fox decided to whisk Dam home with his teleportation magic. But oops, they accidentally materialized in Hysun's car. Hysun nearly jumped out of her skin. Hysun explained that his magic was becoming unpredictable, working one moment, failing the next. That's exactly what happens when a fox spirit starts turning human. All he needed to do was avoid gossip and mischief, easier said than done. The fox is absolutely going to become human. Both the fox and Dam are counting down the days. Even when someone cuts him off in traffic, the fox wouldn't even mutter under his breath. At school that day, the fox caught a stumbling student. But strangely, he didn't absorb any energy this time. Thrilled, he rushed to tell Dam the good news, until he noticed his reflection was disappearing in the mirror. Even in photographs, he was fading away. The fox realized his time was running out. To keep Dam from getting anxious, the fox sent Dam home. Dam's little brother came in and asked if the fox was leaving. The fox told him to look after Dam, but his voice had that final goodbye ring to it. That's when Dam spotted something odd in their photo. Dam sprinted like mad towards the fox's place. Back at his place, the fox was penning a goodbye letter to Dam. Dam kept desperately calling the fox. Blinded by panic, she didn't see the speeding car. She was moments away from being crushed by the truck. At the very last second, the fox shoved Dam to safety. When the fox vanished, Dam fell into deep depression. That's when she found their selfie still saved in her phone. Dam suddenly understood the fox might still exist somewhere. She rushed back to the fox's place immediately. Have you been okay? The fox asked softly. It hit Dam. The fox was the only one who'd ever shown real humanity, who truly knew about giving and self-sacrifice. That's what it really meant to become human. The fox who came back now experiences the world through human senses. Every moment feels more vibrant and full of joy. The red string of destiny ultimately tied Dam and the fox together.